matching hundreds. It's the coach. This is the 2021 season on EA Sports. Coming up, we'll see teams with a couple of running backs who each went over 100 yards a weekend ago, as it'll be the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Seattle Seahawks. I'll join you again at halftime to look at some of these stats and scores from earlier this afternoon. But for now, it's Sunday Night Football. And on the call, as always, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Thank you, Coach. We are in the Pacific Northwest as we get set for football at CenturyLink Field here in Seattle. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Seattle Seahawks. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you look at this Seahawks team as they get ready here. They come in riding high, just one loss in their last 7 games.
It's a very focused team, very disciplined. They've kept the penalties to a minimum, and they're winning football games.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Jaguars, they come in off a loss last time out, but they've been playing better than 500 ball the last couple months. 5 wins in their last 8 games. It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. They're led onto the field by their quarterback, a man who's made quite the name for himself in the NFL, and that's Russell Wilson.
I like this guy, and the reason I do, he tends to stay on an even keel. Doesn't let too much ruffle him. He will manage the game the way it needs to be managed, take what the defense gives him, and then he can strike at times. Had a touchdown pass. Yes, he had an interception last week, but he found a way for his team to win.
A first carry for the converted wideout, J.D. McKissick. Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. And here's the starting offensive unit for Seattle.
And wide receiver Tyler Lockett continues to improve as a route runner and a playmaker downfield. But let's not forget, his main use, kick returner. Knows how to break open a game in that area as well.
On second down, here's Wilson. And the catch is made here by Tyler Lockett. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. Wilson to Lockett there for the Seahawk first down. A little tough on the secondary there, in zone defensively. Quarterback had time to survey and find a spot.
And if you want to change things up and put a little more pressure on him, you can go to man coverage. Everyone matches up and send more pressure. But you can also do it out of zone coverage if you're worried about what's going to happen on your back end. Send someone else, drop someone else out of the line. The old zone blitz could come into play to try and get that pressure on the quarterback.
Steps away. And a grab made by Doug Baldwin. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. His first catch, good for 16 and a first.
I don't care who you put on him, he's going to be a handful in one-on-one throws.
Yeah, right now, you're right. They're in man-to-man. Maybe needs some safety help.
I would say that'd be a good idea. Double team him somehow. I'm going to have to make someone else beat me rather than let him shred my defense.
On first down, Wilson. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And that one falls incomplete. Looked like he might have had position there, but he couldn't hold on it at second down. The starters defensively now for Jacksonville. And they find themselves just outside the top 10 in the league against the pass, currently bringing up the number 11 spot.
So prepping for this game, I kept asking myself the question, what's keeping this group from being top 10 in the league against the pass?
And?
Too many mistakes, especially little mistakes. And those add up into big mistakes. Big mistakes add up into points against you.
So after the incompletion on first, now second and 10. Play action. Now Wilson sliding out of the pocket. He's going deep for Brown. Got a man. It's caught inside the 10. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. Jaron Brown, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Seahawks have taken a first-quarter lead. Well, that's how they envisioned it, get the football to start the game and score.
And I don't know if that was scripted. Was it an audible? Or was it just a play call that they had in their pocket? No matter what, they had the right call on against the right defense, and they end up in the end zone.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here's the first drive now for the Jags. They'll be led out by their quarterback from Central Florida. It's Blake Bortles.
He had the numbers of a game last week that if you win, you talk about him being a gritty guy, managing the game, getting it done. But they lost. So obviously 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass, that's not going to be good enough. Got to get that changed around.
Bortles leads the Jags up 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. A first carry for Leonard Fournette. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. Defensively, the tackle by Cam Chancellor. And the Buffet boys, the O-line. Hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Now Bortles throwing on 2nd down. And Austin Seferian-Jenkins has it. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. The numbers for him from a week ago: 5 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown.
And he's able to pull that last pass in, but this is usually a pretty tough unit to try and maneuver against. They're in the top 10 in the league against the pass, and you and I both know there's not much difference between 1 and 10.
Fournette, a first down carry. And he's got it up over the 40 to the 41. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
Now, Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you had gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to aggressively strike back. And let's see if they want to get outside of the game plan we expect and try and be aggressive on their first series.
On 2nd down, here's Bortles. Looking left sideline, but it's incomplete. And a look at Seattle's defense.
And free safety Earl Thomas has a list of accomplishments as long as anyone's arm. But the thing I think about with him at all times, no matter what happens in front of him on the defensive end of the ball, he's back there to erase any mistakes that happen. The top guy in the league, as far as I'm concerned, in that category.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. From the gun, it's Bortles. And that is incomplete.
And 3rd down is a key down in any game you play. And 3rd down defense, something we've got to watch in this one. Got to be effective on the passing downs. That's a pretty good first step right there.
Out comes the Seattle offense. We take a peek at the playoff race coming into the weekend in the NFC. As of this moment, as pretty much everyone knows, they sit alone in that top spot. But nothing is guaranteed. They haven't even clinched the playoffs. So a good start, but a long way to go.
And you know, a blunt veteran inside their locker room has stood up at one point or another and said, you know all this means nothing so far. We've got to cover this, get it done. What do we want to be? It's like winning a title in August, right, in preseason. Doesn't count. Let's go ahead and get this thing done.
Last week, of course, the great performance, over 200 yards. He still wants to be fed.
And they should. That's exactly what you should do. I have not yet met a running back that's run for over 200 yards that says the very next week, hey, let's back things up.
I don't need it as much.
No, they want it more and more. They're going to be ready to go because they think that's going to happen naturally now.
Another fine carry from the NFL's rushing leader, and quarterbacks typically dominating the MVP balloting, but I think you got to give this guy serious consideration, don't you?
I agree totally. I mean, he's leading the league in rushing, and let's face it, partner, the running back renaissance in the NFL, it's real, and it's really helping teams along the way. He's a prime example.
It's caught inside the 25, and he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. Give him 30 yards there.
In our pregame meeting, all they talked about was keeping him hemmed in and wanting him to make his throws from the pocket because they knew he was pretty dangerous if he got outside, and he just showed it right there. Pretty good arm, too.
So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Throwing now, Wilson on 1st down. Rolling to his right. And incomplete as he was knocked as he threw it. And it took the ball off course.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
There's just one tick to go, so this will obviously be the final play of this first quarter. They'll run it now out of the gun. Oh, the spin. And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. 1 quarter down here on a frigid December night. It's the Seahawks on top here early. We'll be back to Seattle right after this.
The NFL on EA Sports is fueled by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
Alongside my broadcast partner Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2. They're on the march, but facing a 3rd down here. From the gun, it's Wilson, eluding the pressure right. And he fires one, but incomplete. He was out there waving his arms saying, throw it here, dropped it, not a good look.
Well, all I can do is just look at him with contempt on that one. As a defensive back, I'm saying, not as an announcer. Just like, really?
A little bit of a diva look, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Because I think what happens is he just had too much time to think. He's wide open now. Here comes the ball. And he doesn't concentrate and drops it.
So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
And things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Bortles leads the Jags up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll start out on the ground. It's Leonard Fournette. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down. That fits the bill.
Now whistles here. And I believe one of the Jaguar linemen might have moved.
False start. Offense.
So that'll back him up 5. They were looking good on 2nd down, but now they're backed up 5 yards by the false start, and it's 2nd and 8. After the penalty, it's Fournette. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative. Well, you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
Here's Bortles to throw. He'll set up the screen to Fournette, and they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. Only a yard on the third down throw, and that leads to a fourth down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. Do you like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
And the Jaguars send out their punter as he'll punt it away for the second time. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it, somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. They will run it. It's McKissick. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask.
Foul. Face mask. Defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the
First down.
conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. A carry now for McKissick. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Off the play fake, here's Wilson. They'll roll him out right. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Yannick Ngakoue in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
So what's the word I'm looking for here about how this drive just started?
Disjointed?
I'll go with that one. I mean, think about it. First down, took a bad loss on a running play. Take the sack on 2nd down. Then they got to put with something big here on 3rd.
And he can't hang on to it. Nearly picked. He's known for his hands defensively, but instead it just brings up 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. Bortles leads the Jags up 1st and 10 at their own 23. They begin with a run by Fournette. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. On 2nd down, here's Fournette. Oh, a heck of a move.
Man.
And this may be a carbon copy as he'll again be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Making the stop that time, Bobby Wagner.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
Now Bortles. Now he's hit, and Bortles fumbled. It's loose. 2 minutes remain here in the 1st half. Back to CenturyLink Field after this. Coming up at the half, a reminder we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. And the Jaguars send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. That's taken on the 25. Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. And out now come the Seahawks. They're out in front. Last time they had to punt it away. We'll see if they can add to their lead now.
They don't want to go out and punt it away again. This team now wants to get a cushion, put people away. They want to run their offense and have it end up in the end zone.
And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed,
foul.
Here come the flags.
Face mask. Defense.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that would look pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard, inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. Now he'll let it go deep right side. And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, 2nd down. Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Play action. It's Wilson. Flushed out right. It's complete to Lockett. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or two shy of the 10. A really nice gain of 25 yards. They'll throw on 1st down with Wilson. His pass caught at the 4. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion. He'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down. Here's Wilson to throw. The quick slant caught. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. Russell Wilson with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Seahawks add on to their lead.
Heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that could finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that makes our score 17-0. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Jags and Leonard Fournette making their way onto the field. They haven't been able to get him on track. They haven't been able to get this offense on track. No points so far.
Maybe it's time to start doing a few different things. Throwing the ball a little bit, maybe featuring other people touching it for a while, and then you get a chance to come back to him when things have changed a little bit. They have to make an adjustment.
Still time for him here as we sit in the 2nd quarter. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31.
380. 380.
Bortles to throw on 2nd down. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
380.
On 3rd down, Fournette. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. 15 seconds, all that remains for this first half as they come up 1st and 10. They go play action here on first down. Now he's going to throw deep right side. And nearly picked off. Surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away. But it does get away, and it's second down. From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Second and 10 now. Wilson. He's going to walk one deep left side here. And this is incomplete with a clock showing just 3 seconds left. The intended target, Doug Baldwin. Third down here. Final play of the half. It's Wilson. And this time he's got the hookup. It's complete. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. So we are at halftime here in downtown Seattle with the Seahawks out in front. As we'll send you back over to Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report, here's Jonathan Coachman.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll begin up at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, where it was the visiting Bears who come in and get the victory on the road. Teddy Bridgewater, 2 touchdown passes as his guys remain unbeaten. From there, let's hop over to New England. Check out the Patriots at home in Foxborough. And they were winners in that one over the visiting Miami Dolphins. Chris Hogan, 2 touchdown catches in the victory. And finally, on Monday Night Football, should be a good one there, between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out come the Jaguars now as they'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the gunner goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Now Bortles. He's going to wind up and air it out. It's caught inside the 25. And he is down deep into Seattle territory. It's a big play. Bortles to Westbrook. 58 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator is looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there. I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
380.
They'll try and run for it with Fournette. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great play there. His 11th touchdown of the year. And the Jaguars make some inroads here on that deficit. That's a score you felt they had to have here in the third quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there's an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard and you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. Here comes the Seahawks offensive unit. They'll have it first to begin the third. The third quarter has not been kind to them. After they built that lead at intermission, they've seen that lead shrink.
And how much of that is simply execution? How much of that is maybe you lose your edge a little bit because you've got a lead? And you do have to credit the other team some because they've made some adjustments to start to slow them down. Can they find those counters now, those extra plays or plays they haven't run that'll be effective and get them back moving again?
They'll be looking for something here, anything to seize that momentum back. And he powers his way up past the 30. And still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to third down.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. Telvin Smith in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Bortles leads the Jags up 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line.
380.
Bortles now to throw. Caught, Safarian Jenkins, right side. A gain of 6 there on first. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now, the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. But not to get too overcritical there because he knows what he's doing, but his shoulders looked a little off kilter there when he threw that.
I don't think you're being overly critical there. You're just analyzing it, and he gets those shoulders right. That pass will go from incomplete to complete.
And his throw's going to be incomplete. The intended target, the tight end, Austin Safarian Jenkins. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
And it's 3rd down.
380.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Frank Clark in there to get him, and that's sack number 12 for him on the year.
That's his 2nd sack of the game. The best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them, what moves they need to do to set them up. This guy's been pretty good at it all game long.
The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Holding offense.
That time, the right guard sending him backwards.
And so many different types of guys rotate in on the defensive line now, depending on situations. You can get the bulky guy, the fast guy. No matter what, though, you can't hold them.
They'll go again with McKissick. And it's been like this all night long. Nowhere to run as they stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Steps away to his left. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. And how about this one now? In their own territory, a gutsy call. They're going to go for this on 4th and a yard. They'll run with McKissick. And he's not even going to come close to picking up the first. They stop him right at the line of scrimmage. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And now, goodness, possession's going to go over right at the 10-yard line. On first down, Bortles. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
Only a yard there, and that'll bring us to 3rd and goal.
Well, they still have time to get them established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
Bortles now on 3rd and goal. And this is going to be incomplete.
Certainly looked like maybe his 3rd or his 4th read on his progression. Just trying to find his outlet man that time. Ends up leading him just a bit too much.
And the kick by Elliott is good. And they're back within a touchdown. It's 17-10. That drive took him inside the 10. Good job defensively to hold him to 3.
Yeah, I like how you did that. Give a little tip of the cap to the stop troops there because they didn't give up a touchdown in that situation, right? Made them kick the field goal. And, yeah, points went against them, but that feels a whole lot better running off the field.
1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now in Seattle, Washington. As we've got the final quarter upon us, we get ready to start the 4th. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at the 20. Here's McKissick. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a first down.
Well, Brandon, pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech. And I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. Well, with the fumble he had earlier, we know how key keeping the football is here. That fumble earlier probably at the forefront of his mind. Just hold on to this thing.
It's also at the forefront of the mind of the guys who are trying to get the ball from him. And since they've seen him drop it on the ground before, they're doing everything possible to have him do it again. They need that turnover.
The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking. But they didn't accomplish their goal. They didn't get a stop there, gave up another first down. They have all 3 timeouts in their pocket. I think defensively, you got to start thinking about using them here.
I was just going to ask you at what point you think now's the go time?
I think now's the go time. I don't think you sit back and wait because they can take a lot of time off the clock between plays and run 3 to 4 and really put you in a stressful spot. The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Well, we always talk about how you've got to be quick when you go through your progressions, and here's another prime example. Trying to look downfield, he was standing in the pocket, but just couldn't find anyone open, could he?
No, not enough time. They hit him and forced that incompletion. Escaping the pressure right. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Even though that one was incomplete, you could see the training that went into that play. He gets out of the pocket, ends up moving to his right. All he's trying to do, though, extend the life of the play. Keep it alive, hoping someone would pop free.
Was able to take a pretty good shot with a deep ball, but incomplete. And welcome back. The offensive unit, they took the timeout. And now they get set to line up as we resume action. Now here's Michael Dixon as he's on to punt for Seattle. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And this is going to carry well into the end zone for a touchback. And now out come the Jags. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about that. Super toe.
Back to the air on second down. It's Bortles. And he comes back with one complete. And this one will go to the 28-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to, or less than that. And they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
Not only have they done it, they put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. If they could get it done, well, guess what? We see the end result. Right now, they have their eye on victory.
And leading here in the fourth. Fielded just inside the 20. Able to spin free. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now, I could be in that huddle with that offensive line. I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call a timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get in behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. Flush to his right. On the run, he'll let this go deep right. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Ramsey. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Okay, it's real simple to say from here, but we know that sometimes as a quarterback, you've got to know when to say when and just throw it away. Flushed out to the right, tries to make something out of nothing here, and he winds up floating one downfield that gets intercepted.
Getting set to go again, Blake Bortles marches back onto the field with his offense. I would imagine you want to win every game big, but if you're a quarterback in the NFL, this is the spot that you love.
You've been dreaming of it since you were a kid, playing in the backyard or the front yard, wherever, where you went through those imaginary situations. Now it's real, though. What practice have you put in since the OTAs, the mini camps, preseason camp, a sequence of plays, get the ball to the outside, get it out of bounds, save your timeouts, move the ball downfield to get your team in position to win the game.
And a field goal, of course, no good. They need a score. They'll look to throw. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark, really, start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Bortles going to run the draw with Fournette. And he'll be brought down just shy of the 45. The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. Back to throw. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete. What a great sequence by this defense so far. They've given him nowhere to go with the football.
And they just have to make it stand up one more time because it appears that they've got their number. Can they not have a slip up here and allow the touchdown?
He's back to throw. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Gordon. They keep the game alive, at least for the moment, as it's a 1st down. 1st down now, but that clock rolling. He'll look to throw. And to the tight end here, Safarian Jenkins. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion. Back to throw. Throw left side complete. It's Lee. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. That one goes for 24 yards. 1st down now, but the clock continues to move. Bortles to throw. And his throw is going to be incomplete. The linebacker, Bobby Wagner, able to get back in coverage and knock it free.
Well, he leads the NFL in interceptions and nearly added to that total.
Got his hand on it, couldn't quite corral it. It's been a Pro Bowl-type season for him, and the term ball hawk really comes into play, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that one a lot because teams...
And it's caught! It's a touchdown! So they rally here in the final minute, and they're an extra point away from tying this game. So getting the big touchdown they needed late in the 4th, now what do? You conservative and just tie it up?
No, I think you put your practice into game situation. Go as fast as possible. You already have your play call ready to go. Go for 2 and decide it right now.
That time a 9-play drive, and it results in a touchdown for Jacksonville. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. And it was his interception on the last drive that wound up leading to a game-tying touchdown.
And somehow you can make this a positive, though. You know why? Game tied now. So you're not protecting a lead. So you're not playing that way. You've got to go get the lead again. So maybe it loosens him up a little bit and allows him to go ahead and be a little more free in his play. Partner, you've got about 20 coaches on your payroll, but there's 60,000 of them in the stands. I don't think any of them like that play.
And the later we go, it's starting to sound like 100,000 in here. And he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a 1st down.
Defense.
So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it is going to be 15 yards.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Wilson to throw. On the run, he'll let this go deep right side. So they took a shot on first down, but couldn't connect. 4 quarters not enough. We're all even, and to overtime we go.
How much fun is this for everyone who's watching the game? How much fun is it for us to see this one get an extra period to get settled?
It's a little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And Seattle now ready to march onto the field. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
Yeah, as we said, they control their own destiny now. First throw in overtime now for Wilson. Dancing to his left. And he finds a man on a crossing route. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains. Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Being chased out left. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be second and a couple.
Now, that was not a bad scramble there on first down. He didn't force it, nor did he throw it away. He was able to take off, and now he made it a very manageable second and short.
On second down, here's Wilson. Buying time to his left. Now he's going to let it go deep left side. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. Another nice job there defensively. They've really stymied their passing attempts, and it continues in overtime.
And for them to do that, that means they've had to be cohesive on defense. Pressure in the quarterback's face. Good coverage of not just the wide receivers, but the tight end, the running backs when they try and slip out, and making sure they're at the point of attack. When the ball's in the air, they get there and help force some of those incompletions.
Only a pickup of 2, but that's all they needed for the first. Overtime here out west, and you got a team from the Eastern time zone. Maybe their body clock's a little thrown off, or is that overhyped?
I don't think it's overhyped, and I think that for most teams, you're hoping that your mind overrules your body, because your body's looking for slippers and bedtime clothes, right? They're looking for the pajamas. But in this case, you've got to stay with it mentally. And what a lot of teams do, they never change their watches. They always say on East Coast time and just go ahead that way to try and defeat any of the effects of moving to the West.
They go play action now. Wilson eluding the pressure right. He lets it fly for Lockett. And this will be caught. Touchdown. They needed overtime to get it done, but put this one in the win column. Now, partner, a great game that we got to see and making it extra special. Not only did I get 4 quarters with you in this one, I got some overtime, a little whipped cream on top.
Look at you, trying to make this whole thing palatable.
I just want you to pay for my meal later.
You really just wanted 4 quarters, what you wanted. But how much fun was that? We had that type of a game where we got us to overtime, and then we get the dramatic ending to finish things off as well. What a game.
So for the Seahawks, they remain in the hunt for a first-round bye as they move to 11-3 on the year. And they'll have another home date next week as the L.A. Rams come to town. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, they fall to 8-6 with the loss. And they'll have a chance at redemption next week.